Friday Night at Hodge's Cafe, written and illustrated by Tom Egan. Hodge's Cafe was busy as usual last Friday night. Everyone was savoring the delicious desserts that the cafe is famous for. Hodge's is considered by many to be the finest pastry chef in the city. Too bad his duck is so crazy. Everybody likes the duck. He's just a little different. Sometimes he throws ice cream on the floor just to watch it smush. He's also been known to dive into strawberry tarts, and on occasion, he kicks strawberries across the room. Hodges, who is otherwise very calm and patient, gets upset every time and always makes the duck clean up the mess. But everyone knows it will happen again. Anyway, last Friday night, the customers seemed to be enjoying themselves when the duck suddenly flew open. When the door suddenly flew open and a cold breeze came whistling in. Along with the breeze came 3 big, hungry tigers dressed in rather expensive-looking clothes. Everyone fell silent except for the duck. "Gee, they must not have seen the no tigers sign on the door right in front of their faces," the duck said, loudly, proving he was really crazy. The tigers just sneered at him. "No tigers, please." They sat down at the table in the corner. The one holding the cane looked at Hodges and said, "I believe my palate is in dire need of some exotic delicacy. Perhaps elephant schnitzel would satisfy my appetite." Everyone was petrified, but the duck said, "We don't serve that here. Didn't you read the menu?" The tiger jumped at the duck, but the duck was ready for him. He kicked an almond tort that hit the tiger right in the face and sent him falling back into his chair. There was a hush over the room. Then the tiger with the gold suspenders looked over at Stan the pig and said, "Tisk, tisk, my taste buds require something even more refined and tantalizing. I think Pig's Benedict, lightly salted, is my dish of choice." "We don't serve that here either," explained the duck. "Maybe you should try another restaurant." The tiger growled menacingly and started toward the duck. The duck calmly picked up a tray of caramel custards and threw them at the tiger's feet. The tiger slipped on them and went crashing to the floor. Then the biggest tiger stood up and snarled, "It is my considered opinion that the most flavorful entree of all would be sautéed duck in an orange glaze." All at once, the tigers were wildly chasing the crazy duck all over the restaurant. Some of his friends tried to help by throwing cheesecake and rhubarb pies at the tigers, but most of them weren't very good shots. Things got a little out of control. Suddenly, the biggest tiger caught the duck. They looked each other straight in the eye. No one moved. It was a tense moment. All this time, Hodges hadn't said a word. He seemed as calm as always, but then, without warning, he picked up a chocolate souffle and shoved it in the biggest tiger's face. No one could believe it. The tiger dropped the duck, who quickly dove into a large raspberry tart. All 3 tigers showed their big, sharp teeth and terrifying claws. They seemed very upset and about to do something dangerous. Then the biggest tiger paused and said, "Wait a minute." He licked his paw and declared, This is without a doubt the most exquisite souffle I have ever had the pleasure of experiencing. It is magnificent." With that, the duck stuck his head out of the tart and said, "Well, you should try the lemon meringue pie." Then the crazy duck laughed nervously, jumped up, and started dancing around on the counter singing, "I like cakes and I like pies. I like sweets that are twice my size." It was hard not to laugh, so everybody did. Well, the tigers didn't really laugh, but they smiled, sort of. They certainly seemed impressed with Hodge's incredible food. One of them said, "We'll take 3 of your finest Boston cream pies, if you please." "Will that be to go or to eat here?" asked Hodge. The tigers looked at one another. "My colleagues and I would prefer to delight in these richly resplendent pies in comfort of your simple yet dignified establishment," said the one with the cane. "You mean you want to eat them here?" Hodges asked. "Precisely," replied the tiger. So they stayed and ate, and everyone talked. It was a little hard to understand what the tigers were saying because they talked so fancy, but they seemed much friendlier. The duck even made them laugh once. All things considered, it turned out to be a fairly nice evening. And later that night, after everyone left, Hodges took the "No Tigers" sign off the door.